just a good old boy, never meaning no harm. Beats all you never saw, been in trouble with the law since the day they was born. Raising the curves, planting the hills. Someday the mountain might get 'em, but the law never will.
All right, NDL, welcome back. The Hot Route episode 2 is live. I'm joined here by my guy NTX, aka Matt. Matt, how you doing tonight?
Good, Drew. How you?
Good, man. Got home a little bit ago from the last hockey practice of the year. Taking off tomorrow evening for the final tournament of the year. So 6 months and thousands of dollars later, I'll finally be able to start the financial recovery process.
I know the feeling. My oldest played club soccer for a while, and oh boy,
Yeah, I remember we were talking about, and
feel real.
he played in the FC Dallas Academy at one point, right?
Right.
Yeah, I can't even. The sum of money for something like that has to be ungodly.
Not worth it at all.
Well, we were able to add a little intro music this week. Were you able to hear that on your end, NTX?
I did. I loved it.
Oh man, brings me back to a different time, dude.
You wouldn't be able to play the show now.
You know, it's a shame, isn't it? But I would love to go back. I don't know if it's. I'm sure it still stands the test of time. But like, if I were to go back and watch the Dukes of Hazzard now, would it land with me the same way it did when I was a kid? Probably not, but it might. I don't know. But I could not get enough of that, dude. The General Lee, Daisy Duke, signed me the fuck up.
Right. It was so good, and they always won. The good guy always won, which is
Precisely.
I'm also a big Bandit fan, Smokey and the Bandit.
Yeah.
Just kind of along the same line, Just drive fast, have fun.
Love it. CG's in the chat. How you doing, CG? What's up? Well, we've got the season's kicked off now. We're coming up on Block 2 opening. Obviously, we made a nice amendment last year and did a blocked system for games to get them closed out. So we'll still have another week on Block 1 to go. I am one of the rare people who, through out-of-conference scheduling, somehow didn't end up with a Block 1 game period, so I'm still in a holding pattern. I know you've shared with me what happened to you right off the rip to kind of introduce yourself to Season 35, but how are things going for you so far?
I mean, it wasn't bad. I felt like I played well. I just didn't. I did what I kind of have always done the last couple seasons, and just didn't make enough plays at the right time. Which Chase is a good user, and his team's really good. Arizona State's really, really solid. So you just can't make those mistakes. Which really, I mean, the biggest mistake was missing the extra point, right? So I would say that I would learn from it and do better, but I probably won't do better. So we'll just eat it and move on.
Yeah. Well, there's been quite a few games played. Quite a few notable results even, really, I'd say. I went ahead and just outlined the show here. I figure we might as well get right into it. What do you think?
Yeah, it works for me.
Okay. Offline, we talked about some topics, and one thing that we thought would be good to talk about for a little bit here was some early season surprises or notable game results that caught your eye. So I've got a couple here, but I'd like to hear what you've got as well. So if you've got anything, Matt, what surprised you early on here in Block 1?
Yeah, so I think go sort of like an overarching, more so high level view than drill down. There is one game. I think that game today was surprising for all of us, right? To see Chase uh, lose to James Madison with Virginia Tech. Now he
Yeah.
was on the road, and I think there's something to be said. I don't know if anything's been tweaked in the background, but road games feel significantly tougher this season than it seems like they were last season, even for big schools, way at little schools.
Hmm.
Um, so that was really, really surprising. But I think the really big surprise to me is the difference between the Big Ten and the SEC, right? So the Big Ten is 14 combined losses. There's
Yeah.
one on there that's not added. That was today. Um, Headlined by Nebraska's 0-3, and then the SEC only has 5 combined losses,
Yeah.
right?
Um,
Which is
Pretty
this
impressive,
early.
isn't it?
Yeah, this early to have 14 combined losses is insane. I mean, obviously there's 100 teams in the Big Ten, but
Well, I mean, you like you said though, you look down at the SEC and you see a lot of zeros in the loss column, and then you look up at the Big Ten and you see a lot of ones and a lot of zeros in the win column. But man, online dynasty. I know homie's doing everything he can for us, but it's tough trying to make sure you have enough of the windows pre-open that we want to look at because
yeah,
she's struggling
it
right
is.
now. But that's okay. Um, I want a
I
little
might
bit
have.
more specific, if I could throw one out there, um, or a couple really. One win that I just noted, and I like to bring some of these up too, just because of other people speaking on them as well and taking notes. So when other people, notice somebody, I like to try to give them credit where credit's due. Um, but football Kelly at Toledo, uh, not the world's best MAC school by any means, but he posted a 38-34 win over Big Ten team in Wisconsin, coached by the Nidler. Uh, I talked to Kelly quite a bit. He and I actually have a little bit of a OOC yearly annual thing, I should say. But he's pretty locked in there. He had told me recently that he's not going to leave unless he's fired. And it's funny because when we were going through the chat one day, I forget which one it was, but I noticed somebody mention him and say that he's a tough out. He knows that team very well and what he can get out of them. So, um, not a coach's name that's been talked about much success wise, but you never know. Maybe he could have a year this year. Um,
Oh, for sure. And the max. I mean, short of Chip, the max wide open,
yeah,
right? Like
for sure.
somebody needs to step up there and challenge Chip. And I played Kelly 2 seasons ago. I was at Miami of Ohio. We had a ridiculous battle. I mean, I think it was like 56-55, and he won on a 2-point conversion, I think.
That's awesome.
It was insane, insane game. It was so fun.
That's
He's a really,
unbelievable.
really good guy.
Um, Talking about high point totals there, I just wanted to bring T Fan back up out at Hawaii. Just circling back to episode one where you had mentioned him as a team that you were looking at, and just how that that run and shoot offense fit T Fan perfectly, and he's come out in block one and put up 45 and 55 points respectively. So, uh, just credit to you there for calling that one. Obviously, opponent has things to do with it, whatever the case. But no matter what, putting up an average of 50 points isn't simple.
No, and it doesn't matter who you're playing, right? But he's got it, man. He's got it locked in, and I'm really excited to see him get into the meat of that Mountain West schedule. I think that's going to be one of the more fun conferences this entire season because there's probably 6 guys over there, like five, six that could win that conference.
I was looking at them as well. Yeah, there's I think there's a clear top group of three or four in my mind, but I think you're not wrong in saying that there's 5, 6 guys that could probably win it. Um, did you probably saw Chrome? He had that LSU debacle where they had a disconnect and the game was close to begin with, and then they agreed to play a full second time around. They ended up losing 68-37. Um, That news was broken by Herb Splatz, and wanted to shout out Weasel on that because Splat City Films is freaking hilarious, man.
It's awesome.
Um,
W-
but and then
Weasel gets a bad rap. Weasel
people will
gets a
learn to
bad
love him
rap.
in time, I think. Hopefully.
Right? Well, I think if people understood that live chat Weasel is basically a wrestling persona,
I love that.
right?
That's
Like
a great way to put
it's
it.
literally it's just him turned up to 12,
Yeah.
right? And if you just take it as that and go, oh, okay, like that's not really how he talks, you know? He kind of talks like that, but this is the volume up. I think once you understand that, you go, oh no. And if you ever get a chance to actually talk to him, he's a really good dude.
Yeah. And I think too, like that he's probably at a 12 all the time in the effort department. You know what I mean? Like he channels it in a different way when he does herb splats and whatnot, but he doesn't do it with any less enthusiasm than he you know, brings his opinions to the live chat. So credit to him for being Weasel through and through. But
Always.
I just
Always.
wanted to
Even when you don't want it to be.
exactly. Um, so just back on Chrome though, because he had another one. So he took that loss, but he went out and beat Sergeant. I say TZT, but I just want to call him Sergeant Tit at Tulane. Another high scoring affair, 59-56. So Chrome's been highlighted by several people as being one of those coaches that you could probably put a dangerous label on. Obviously, he can score, um, gives up a lot of points, but probably something that he can figure out. So I would still label Rutgers as a team to watch this season, at least in the Big Ten anyway, uh, being backed by a talented coach like Chrome.
Yeah, they're
Um,
going to be tough. They're going to be tough. I mean, it's one of those things when you have an offense like his, but you don't really have a defense. Um, there's so much pressure to sustain your high output on offense, and I think you've seen this season. I think you've seen someone like Jumper change his play style to sort of because he was starting to have some of those too, where he would go out and throw 5 or 6 interceptions and lose, even though he's the better offensive player.
yep.
You, it's so hard to be on all the time. Like you either have to start to get some stops or you have to start to keep the ball a little bit. Like
And
every game can't be a shootout and you be consistently successful.
yeah. And so to that point about Jumper too, because I've been thinking about him. You know, he was somebody I had spoke to preseason about his fit there at Ole Miss. But um, as you're saying, like it's not even just about changing up what you're doing in the passing game. You know, if you're playing a good user defender, it's not just about forgetting the drags and the slants and trying to hit some of the deep routes or whatever, finding something off of. Jumper has gone and found a running game that I don't think any of us have ever seen from him before. So that's like
Mm-hmm.
a true adaptability and understanding what he has in that team with Kiwan Lacey and just using the team that you have to your advantage rather than just like they do in real life, a coach like a Jimbo Fisher making everybody fit your system, be damned what they can do, you know? So credit to him for putting it together, like you said.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's a question that Chrome's going to have to answer too, right? I mean, when you get into Big Ten play, are you going to try to have a shootout? I don't know. What is it? I don't have a schedule. I can't pull it up. The site's not cooperating. But
Right, same.
obviously, He plays Penn State. Plays Ohio State. You're not going to win a shootout with those guys most of the time. Those teams that are significantly better than you.
Right.
So you got to figure out a way to limit possessions, and you either have to run the ball or get better on defense.
It's true. Um, I got just another couple individual coaches to shout out. Um, Chop out at Cal. We know his success from Western Michigan last year. Obviously, another good coach, somebody who should probably be labeled problematic for the top players, that is. Um, but he picked up a nice win over Hughes in Michigan State, and obviously Hughes is a very capable coach as well. And then the other guy that I took note of was X Cross down at Auburn. He's 2-0 with 2 wins versus the Big Ten. Maybe Nebraska and Illinois, but irregardless, that's still a Big Ten victory. So I
Yeah,
know there hasn't been a ton of
absolutely.
success down on the plains there in recent years, but there's enough Auburn fans in the NDL that they'd probably love to see X Cross achieve something with him. So good luck to him anyway.
I think there may be more Auburn fans than there are any fans of any school. It's actually kind of weird. I think there's like six or seven Auburn guys.
Yeah, I think maybe Ohio State could be the only one that's in that ballpark with him right now. But yeah, I think there's
Yeah.
definitely a lot of Auburn guys. Tennessee too, though. Don't forget Tennessee, because if I don't
Um,
mention that, they're going to be in here letting us know in about 2 seconds.
I try to forget the orange.
Nothing against my Tennessee guys, just like to rib you.
I like Cross a lot. He's a good dude. He's another one though. And I think you're seeing. I think this is sort of a theme you'll see among the really talented newer guys that are really good on offense. Is a lot of them are also really not great on defense, right? And I mean, obviously, that's a league-wide issue. I mean,
Yeah.
80% of us can't play defense, but it's just highlighted because their offenses score so much. It's going to be really interesting to see which one of that handful of guys figures out the other side quicker.
Yeah. And this is one of the things I like about doing this too is just in 2 episodes of production now, I've probably reached out and spoken to 20 plus coaches, whether that's in a coaching role, commissioner role, etc. Um, but several guys that I've never spoken to before. So it's just a great way to open doors. Cross being an example, I haven't ever really conversed with him. So, uh, I might reach out to him here, but quite a few other guys I've gotten to start a conversation with, and I'm really enjoying that. So, one of the underlying benefits for us here uh, behind the microphone. Um, that's all I have for the early season look. Do you got anything else you want to hit before we move it along?
No. Were you shocked by Miami Notre Dame? Did that?
No, I mean a lot of turnovers, right? That's just one of those things. Like I could easily see that game if RB has some different decision making that day. I don't know exactly what it is. I'm just going to call it decision making. But minus the turnovers, he probably still wins. Yeah, but I bet that's less than a 10-point game for sure at that point, or at least he has to sweat it out a little bit longer, even if Devin does come through. But um, I'm not surprised at the same time because hey, if you're just having a bad day, you're not reading the field right, or you're just doing one of those things where your brain locks in on your first and primary target, and even if you see it locked down, you press the damn button anyway. I don't know, but those things happen. So if they played again, I think you probably still see Miami eke out a victory, but I don't think RB lets it be like that.
Yeah, no, I agree, and I think it's going to take some time for both of them. I think Devin's offense is a little bit more transferable, probably, um, to from obviously not the quarterback running part, but the passing game, right? I mean, he just went from good to significantly better. I was
Yep.
surprised RB didn't run the ball as much as he did, but I mean, as much as I thought he should have, let's say it that way. But it's also really hard to run the ball when you turn it over and you get behind early.
Yeah.
It's just you're kind of just chasing from the start. I Notre Dame will be fine. I think he'll end up right thereabouts at the end
Sure.
in the
Yep.
discussion.
Agree. All right. Well, that's a positive note. Starting off the season with some guys finding success, other guys obviously not. But there's always going to be a winner and a loser on every side of it. Um, to that same point, winners and losers, I'd like to take a moment and just talk about the Beefy Cup. Um, so I'm just one of those guys. Full disclosure, I'm not participating. I hate saying that. It feels disgusting, but I've been put into a group with Alabama and Notre Dame, and I just I play the game for fun, and there's zero personal enjoyment in that. And then I'm not going to play the other two guys and potentially risk them taking a loss when I didn't take one, or granted the other guy's a win. So I have to just push that one there. But um, it's not even a matter of protest. It's literally just a matter of my time and what it means to me. But I would love to see the Beefy Cup maybe change up in some capacity to a split cup G5 Power Four something. Again, I'm not going to sit here and beat the dead horse, but just wanted to acknowledge that there's probably not just myself in that type of situation, and I'm sure other people have thoughts on it, but um, just figured I'd share mine because we're an open and honest group here, and wanted to hear what you thought about Beefy Cup,
So
Matt.
what you're saying is you are a cornerback watching a fullback run at you, and you're making a business decision.
Yeah, I'm gonna nope out on. Yes, that's exactly right.
I don't. I mean, honestly, like as much as we love history and obviously I've been around forever, and you know what it's named for. I just there's no relevance.
Right.
I don't think there, other than the guys that won it. I bet you 5% of the league couldn't name the last three Beefy Cup winners. And there has to, at some point in this process, there has to be a change in some way. I don't know what the way is to make it relevant to the people in the league. Because right now it's not. I've played one. I've tried to play my other two multiple times just because I want to get the game time in and the scrimmage time in.
Yeah.
Because that's really what most of us look at is just scrimmages and working on stuff.
Right.
Um, but I can't get them to respond, and I don't blame them, and I'm not going to chase them. You know, it's like okay,
Yeah.
like I guess you'll come find me. Um, but something has to change, right? And
Yeah.
I don't even know. I'll be honest with you. I don't even know that splitting it into G5 and P4 matters. I actually think you're going to open up a bigger can of worms having guys play each other when they already have season games lined up. Because I'm not going to play anybody in Beefy that I have to play in the regular season. So when you compress the pools, it's inevitable. You're not going to be able to avoid that.
Yeah. I
So
just
I don't know how you fix it.
I just had a thought. I mean, I wonder if you were to do so. I didn't, I don't like hearing the fact that you're not even getting a response out of guys. That kind of sucks. Um, I didn't respond for a while. I held, again, there's guys in there playing games. It's not like they were, just waiting on me, but um, I was holding out really on the fence of if I wanted to do that or not. But once I decided I did, I just popped in and said, "Listen, guys, full disclosure, here it is." Nobody had a problem with it. I think people get it. But I was wondering, rather than eliminate Beefy or change it, what if it was one of these things where like scarcity, creates demand for certain things, right? So what if Beefy Cup was just once a game cycle, every 3 seasons? And then you could find something else to put into each other season if people still were craving that. But at least that keeps it from disappearing entirely. And then, maybe once every 3 seasons, I could foresee myself. I see your analogy, but let me throw another one out there. It took Aaron Rodgers a while to learn, right? But he got hit enough that over the last few throws the ball away or gets out of bounds, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm kind of like Aaron Rodgers because the flip side of that is me playing Notre Dame and Alabama, and now I'm walking off the fucking field rigor mortis like fucking Tua Tagovailoa after he just got his 19th concussion. Like that's how it feels playing those games. But it sucks to like just not participate. Period. So if it was like a once a game cycle thing, I think I would be able to take those lumps, and that might help others be more willing to invest in it as well. But just a thought. I don't know. We'll see.
Sure. Or make it. I mean, what if it was single elimination?
Yeah, I
Like you
mean,
just line up a big 136 team tournament or whatever you got to do with buys. You know, if you want to put the top 10 teams into the second round, sure, who cares?
and that
You know,
works, right? Because even
right?
if I drew a first round game against Bama, all I got to do is play Bama. I don't have to play Bama and then take three more ass whoopings on top of that. You know what I mean?
Exactly,
So,
exactly.
yeah,
And the guys that want to be involved in it and want to play it and want to play it, see it all the way through, they'll lock in and go
yeah,
do it. But make it single elimination, and then it gets done every year, and I think you have less of an issue.
yeah. All right, well, we won't beat that one dead. That's, just wanted to touch on it just to keep the conversation alive. Again, we try to be honesty brokers here, so we'll always let the league know what we think, right, wrong, or indifferent. Um, well, Block 2 is going to open up here with game day Saturday morning, as usual. Shout out to those guys. Plug them as always. They do a great show. So, for some of the newer guys, if you haven't tuned in to the first week of that yet, try to catch the second week. But we'll go ahead and I'll throw yours up here. Light week, but you went with a home run swing here. So you want to just talk about your week 2 bet slip real quick?
Yeah, I'm gonna continue to hammer Auburn overs, and at this point, it may be even just because it makes me laugh because of the way Cross reacts to it. It's like he'll tell me like, "My defense isn't that bad." I'm like, "I know, but it is," and then so I'm just gonna continue to hammer Auburn overs. Um, I think Boise, I don't. I'd have to go pull it, but for some reason, I thought Boise was the underdog against North Carolina, which is insane to me. Um, they should be the favorite there. I'm looking at it now.
And you know what's interesting is, yeah, I'm not saying he is or isn't, but I want Andy obviously doesn't have the time, but it would be interesting if there could be like an automated odds system because obviously North Carolina just went out and lost to ULM here in the block 1 as well, so that changes the math on on the Boise game as well, in my opinion. But
Yeah. So to get Boise at plus 150
yeah,
against North Carolina is a really good get. Cincinnati at UConn is more of a just a for me it's a shot. I've scrimmaged UF. He's playing really well with Cincinnati. Um, Dave hasn't been, UConn hasn't been around. They haven't played. He doesn't scrimmage. Obviously, he knows the team inside and out. He's had them for 100 years. I just think it's a little bit of a. It's going to be a lot tougher than people expect it to be.
yeah,
Um, the Fighting Bearcroft's, Marshall in Wyoming. I think Marshall over Wyoming almost took the over as well, but you know they're getting old like us. I don't know if their thumbs can handle a shootout. So they're they're that's going to be a really fun one. I'm excited for that game. And then Virginia Stanford. I think a lot of folks are going to be on Stanford because Jet had a good season. But I'll bring this back, and I'm not gonna. You said we want to be honest all the time, right?
hell yeah, man.
One thing I'm not gonna do is I'm not gonna preface every opinion with I really like the guy, but right?
Fair.
Like here's the opinion, and people can just take it and not or be upset or not be upset.
Yeah,
Jet may be fantastic. Hughes may be fantastic. We have seen D5 Darling goes P4 and they're going to win everything. We have seen that fairy tale over and over and over and over. And most of the time, they find that it is not the same,
yeah,
right?
it's true.
So that is what the Virginia bet is. I think Vic Tim is really solid. He's a really good user. He's underrated. Took it. What do you take Alabama right to the wire,
Yeah,
right?
I don't remember the score, but it was definitely close. Yeah, he had Rain sweating that one out, no doubt.
Absolutely. So yeah, it's more of a just a bet on narrative, you know.
Perfect. So obviously we got some viewers here, but for those of you who are going to listen in later, NTX's Block 2 bet slip is a 5-way parlay. Auburn, Oklahoma, hammer the over 63.5. And then on the money line, Matt takes Boise State to beat North Carolina, Cincinnati to beat UConn, Marshall to take down Wyoming in the Barracoff Bowl, and Virginia over Stanford. And that's week 2 for NTX. All right. I like it. I like it. Let me bring you what I got.
Let's do it.
So,
Are, are we
go ahead.
going back to last week at some point, by the way?
Yes, yeah. Shoot, I don't have that information in front of me. I will bring that up real quick. That's not hard to do. In the interim, let me give you my week 2, or excuse me, block 2, best bets. Duke and Minnesota. This involves you, brother. I don't have a groundbreaking analysis for you, but I saw the number 63.5 up there like a lot of games, and I just felt like that was too high for this matchup. So I put 100 for you guys to go under 63.5. I saw Louisville at plus 220 against Missouri, and I just think that line is flat wrong. Swovine's shown before that he's a good coach in past seasons. And then even if Roke was having an off day, he already started off this season with a win against Texas A&M, coached by Roke. So regardless, that's strong. I was taking those odds all day. So I bet 200 to win 440. Louisville plus 220 at Missouri. Texas Tech and Utah. I put down 100 to win 90. I believe they're going to go under the 63.5 as well. Marion obviously is a ball control guy. He'll run it quite a bit. Mort at Texas Tech has already admitted that they're obviously not as prolific on the offensive side of the ball as they show on the defensive side. And so I think he'll obviously be looking to not make it a shootout and probably also play a similar game. So I think that one could probably very easily go under 63.5 for that reason. And then the last one I had for this week was, or this block, I should say, excuse me again, is going back to my guy, Football Kelly at Toledo. I saw him with a 3.5 point favorite against Sergeant Arby Sauce in Western Michigan. I don't know Coach Sargent yet. I should say Arby Sauce because we have Sergeant Lingus as well. But again, this isn't a bet with any supreme insight on Western Michigan. But I just think that going back to the Football Kelly knowing Toledo very well, having been there and staying there, I think he can probably hit that 3.5 pretty soundly. So I put down 200 to win 181 on him. Yes, let's talk. Go back. I probably didn't want to go back because it wasn't a good week for me. In block 1, I had bet Kansas minus 6.5 at Mizzou, and then Notre Dame versus Miami over 60.5, which came close but missed. So I actually ended up with a 0-2 week. You hit. Let's see. I didn't record yours here. Do you remember? I have you with Cal plus 3.5 versus Michigan State, Boise plus 4.5 versus Kentucky, Auburn minus 6.5 against Illinois, and the over obviously for Auburn. You went 4-0, I believe, didn't you?
I think so.
I know you hit the over and Auburn. You hit Cal, and then I forget Boise and Kentucky. That was a tight game. That's a nice. There you go again. Mountain West. Obviously Kentucky isn't the class of the SEC by any stretch, but irregardless, for Boise to, I believe he made the trek to UK as well. Nope, it was at
Was
home.
it?
But
Well, I mean,
so
that's another one of those. That's one of those user rivalries where you kind of throw out the teams and the
Yep.
records and
Right.
they play each other so much
Too
that
familiar with
you
each
just
other for any of that other to
yeah
matter.
yeah you
But
just never know.
that that one was tight though. Iraka squeezed that one out 22-21, so that actually puts you at 3-1 for block one.
Gotcha.
But
I'll
better
take it.
start than my 0-2. And I was looking at NDL sharps there, and I noticed some people went with a little bit more volume. I was trying, or am trying, and I think I'll continue to try. It's for fun. It's not anything serious, but I toyed with throwing out some more bets just on a whim. But I'm trying to stick with not a set number of bets each week, but only ones that seem to have value in them. So trying to it's fun, but I'm trying to treat it a little bit like a real life challenge. So 3, 4, maybe 5 bets a week. We'll see how it gets to. I don't know. I saw Homie had posted something in the chat, and I'm not sure what Andy can and can't do behind the scenes, but he does expect those lines to sharpen up a little bit as the season rolls on, obviously. So might get a little harder to take the house's money, but I'm going to enjoy trying anyway.
I mean, credit to Andy though for that creation, man. I mean, he
Hell
said
yeah.
he was telling me today or yesterday that there were 370 outstanding bets placed right as of that moment, which is, I mean, that kind of volume just says right there how popular it is. So
Yeah.
what a job.
I mean, it's twofold, right? Like it's so threefold, really. Like everybody is gaining personal enjoyment out of it. It creates more talking points in the chat, and realistically, whether you go and watch the game or not, it still gets people more invested in other coaches and other games, and at a minimum, going and checking results, whereas they may not otherwise. So, I think beyond just the fun of it, it's actually kind of become an important tool um, to help build the league further. So, serious props, yeah, to Andy for that one. I'm a big fan. Oh, all right. So we'll move along, get away from the current happenings of the league, and try to talk about some other things since we have a great number of other shows, or we have several other shows that do a great job talking about that already. Um, so you and I had talked about some of the things we'd like to see, and one of the things, or do I should say, and one of the things we wanted to do was to get some of the new coaches seen and heard about, just to introduce them to everybody else, under the same understanding that, just like myself, not having gotten to know everybody yet, it's a lot easier if we can share that, rather than everybody have to maybe reach out and make direct communication. So uh, again, just finding things that bring the group together, commonalities, um, talking points for guys to start a conversation and a friendship over. We reached out to 4 coaches: Coach Jared Allen at ULM, Texaco T at Kent State, D Nazi, who is at Oklahoma State, and Chop at Cal. Obviously, Nazi and Chop were with us last season, but still relatively new, and guys that we wanted to highlight. I think I'm saying Texaco right. It's one of those ones that's kind of like Tar UNC heel, where people thought it was Tarun Cheel or something like that. And then once you know exactly what it is, you're like, well, how the hell did I ever not know that? But I believe
Right.
it's
Yeah.
Texaco. So be interested. I should have asked him what that was all about, but I'll get to that. Um, so I've got some slides here for the guys that are joining live. For those of you who are going to be listening on pod later, we just asked the guys all the same simple questions: where you're from, how did you find the NDL, and do you know anyone else in the league from prior to joining the NDL? Do you follow college football, and who is your favorite team? Any favorite memory of that team or a game you've been to? We also asked them, what do you like most about the NDL so far? And did you happen to watch the season 35 live draft? Have you been in other online leagues, and what is your impression so far of the NDL versus those other leagues? And lastly, what is something about the NDL you're looking forward to? So, first coach that I had a chance to speak with and interview was Coach Jared Allen, again down at ULM. He hails from Pensacola, Florida, and come to find out, he was actually introduced to the league through you, Matt, from another online dynasty. So, um, I think you've probably brought in a couple people now, haven't you?
Yeah, I think so. It's hard to say. He's a really good dude. Though. I was in his he has a online dynasty that he runs that I had found on Facebook. It it didn't jive really with the way that I play just because I only play the NDO way, and
Yeah.
in some other leagues that can get you a lot of ass whippings, and I'm just so used to how we play that it's really hard for me to branch out. So he runs a great league that and it wasn't like super insane road to CFP cheesy, but it was just more than I'm used to. So I bowed out, but I did see some of his gameplay, and I was like, oh, he'd fit great. So shot him an invitation, and he ended up coming over. I'm glad he's enjoying it and doing well. Right,
Yeah.
big win over North Carolina.
Yep. He's actually one of the guys that I picked up out of conference, so he and I'll have a showdown on week 11. So more to come on my opinion of him based on that game. I'm just kidding. Um, no, great guy. I enjoyed conversating with him so far, and he's obviously he's definitely a football guy through and through. You're going to see here. So as far as real life college football, he said, "Oh, definitely." He says, "I don't know where you're from, but in the South, we only have 3 seasons: spring, summer, and football." So definitely going to fit in with the NDL. I think I love that. I'm college football all the time. I don't do NFL. I don't do much else besides hockey and baseball, college football. So his favorite team is the Florida Gators. He said, and so for everybody to know, Jared is a real high school football coach. And so, beyond being a fan of the Gators, he also has sent players to play at Southern Miss, Colorado, Jacksonville State, USC, I believe the Trojans, not the Gamecocks, but we can confirm, Ohio State, Florida, and Florida State. Jared also has current players rostered at Clemson, Air Force, Auburn, and USF. So I'm gonna just declare right now, Coach Jared Allen's got to be a fucking stud. That's a list of schools right there. So that's pretty neat.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, it is.
wow. We're gonna have to find out more about that. We'll have to have him on a future episode, I think. Um, one of his favorite
Pensacola home,
memories, though. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, bud.
Pensacola home of an NFL great, Emmett Smith, Pensacola.
Really? Huh? I didn't. I mean, I maybe in a time and place when I used to study all of my football cards and memorize everything about them. In a at a better time in life, being a kid, I could probably tell you that. But nowadays, I'm terrible with trivia like that. But that's interesting. I didn't. I For some reason I would have pegged him as like a Texas or an Oklahoma guy. I didn't know he was from Florida.
Yeah,
Um,
probably just all those years with the star on his helmet, right? It's hard to
right. Gotta
separate him
be.
from Texas.
Um, and then, so Jared's favorite football memory was the Tim Tebow war paint game against FSU. He said that dude played with emotion and was a great leader, and beating Florida State is always worth mentioning. So he'll obviously get the attention of some people in here. Uh, Texan Knoll, uh, Penguin, the revered swamp donkey hater. But
Vic, Vic's
I
another
think
one.
I think they'll learn to like Coach Jared Allen in time. And then just what he's looking forward to in the NDL is just the people that he's talked to while playing, and it's good to be around like-minded people. And on the gameplay side of things, he really likes not having to defend snapping and dropping back 30 yards or immediately sprinting right to the sideline to throw the crossing route back to the left every play. So he'll obviously fit in with the NDL well, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
I love that. All right. Devin Higgins in the chat says he's badass like that. Good to see you guys. Appreciate you guys all tuning in. It's been obviously we kicked off a little later than normal. Little light on the viewership tonight, but that's okay for everybody that is here. We certainly appreciate it. Um, Moving along, next guy we want to talk about, Coach Texacote at Kent State. He's new this season. He comes to us by way of Greenville, South Carolina. He was brought into the league by a combination of Old Schooler and Razorback. Uh, they all played together in another league. So thank you, Old Schooler, and thank you, Razorback, for bringing Texacote on board. He is a South Carolina Gamecocks fan, and he appreciates a better time in life, which was known as the Connor Shaw era. Um, I was gonna take the time to go look that up. I just ran out of time and didn't have time to do it. That had to be must have been around the 2010 to early
Yeah, I think it was
teens. I think
late 2000s.
like
I think there's I know this. I know there's 1,000 Jason Aldean Connor Shaw mixes out there. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I'll send you one later. But
I
the
don't,
late
so I definitely
2000s,
look forward to that.
early 2000s, late 2000s quarterback, SEC quarterback mixes, mixtapes are awesome. 2010 to 2013.
Yep. Okay. So yeah, he's 34, so he's not far behind me. So yeah, that makes sense. Um, but yeah, I don't. Who? It doesn't matter. I'm not gonna sit here and go through. I'm just trying to think of who was the ball coach back then. Was that Steve Spurrier still? I don't know what he.
So
It doesn't
I
matter, but
really, I know, I really do think he was still there,
I
because well, didn't they still have like Lattimore around that time? And
that's what I'm thinking too. Yeah, that's all about the same time that I'm remembering. So I might go back and look into that at some point, just for fun. I'm kind of glad Texacote brought that up because I definitely remember that being. Obviously, they're in the Lenora Sellers era right now, and not not blowing the world away. Maybe throwing away some games that they could have won and had a better season, but they're not to be looked over in the SEC. But probably you'd have to think going back that was as Texacote mentioned their last great run, and I definitely remember some Connor Shaw mania around that time. So uh,
'05 to 2015 was the old ball coach.
yep. So there you go. Yep. In the tail end of the Spurrier era. Very cool. Um, what about the league that Texacote likes? He is really enjoying the community and how much people add to the league, such as the live draft, the podcast, the conference commissioners, and such. So um, he also was able to tune in for all of day one of the draft and then caught bits and pieces of day two. So sounds like he's diving fully into the NDL verse and is finding it as enjoyable, I think, as the rest of us do. So, very happy to have Texacote on board with us. So, good luck to him in the MAC this season. Um, maybe he can. I don't know if he plays Chip, but maybe he's got something up his sleeve for Chip, or maybe he'll just get the Chip experience and get bludgeoned to death with hit sticks. We'll see.
Do you think he just loves sweet tea from Texaco?
Well, Texaco, the gas station, dude. This is what I'm saying. Like that's what's like funny about these names. That's exactly what I was thinking too. I was like, Texaco is a gas station, and Texaco. Does he? We're gonna have to find out. I'm gonna in a future episode. I will report back on. This is what I should do. We definitely need to get origin stories on usernames more often. I
For
think.
sure. I mean, I'll give you just a window into the South. When you find a good sweet tea that's consistent, I mean, you have a real love for it. Like there's a little taco place called Taco Delight that has incredible sweet tea. If I want a sweet tea, that's where I go.
My brother. I mean, I may be from the north, but I'll just tell you, there's a solid 10 pounds of my fucking stomach that is fucking attributable straight to sweet tea. I
Good.
mean,
I knew you're a
it's
good person.
It's a crutch. I don't know what to tell you. I enjoy Milo's a lot. Obviously, it's hard to find great sweet tea up here. I generally do make my own in the summertime. Nothing like Milo's, but uh, I can appreciate drinking my own sweet tea. Uh, so love that. We're gonna find out about.
Milo's makes a sweet tea lemonade,
Hmm.
which is incredible.
All right, I'm gonna have to look into that one. I haven't. I'm not sure if that's stocked on the shelves up here, but I'm gonna have a look. Um, the remaining questions here. What's different about here versus some other online leagues is again just the importance of the league to the guys in it. It's something that we all truly care about, and not just another thing to check off. I think that's a great way to put it. Yeah, I mean we're here because we're invested, right? Like it's a quarter of midnight on a Thursday, and they may be some Pacific time guys, but we still have 8 to 10 viewers here. So obviously, guys crave the NDL, and it doesn't take much to notice that, even for a guy that's just joined us. So um, I appreciate that. And he's just looking forward to completing his first season here, and drafted Kent State with the idea of obviously using them as a stepping stone for 27. So good luck to Texaco T and the MAC, and may you score high so you can draft well. Moving along, we'll go ahead and talk about Coach Chop. Again, second season with us, I believe. Western Michigan last year, and now he's out at Cal. From the Indianapolis area, that's another area where I know we got, at least within a relatively tight radius, quite a few guys from up that way. So uh, glad to have you, Chop. He was actually brought in by Andy from another online dynasty. So I think Andy's one of those guys that has definitely brought us at least a few guys. I'm not sure that they're all still here, or, whatever the case may be, but just it's good to see guys that can identify people who may fit with us well and bring them in. I don't, in my personal life, would never recommend any of my friends for the NDL, but unfortunately, because it would be fun to have a friend of my own in here, an OG homie, but that's all right. Um, Chop is a USC fan. As a kid, the Marcus Allen football card said the college is USC, and for that reason, he's been a fan since '91. The good memories for him that stick out about that are watching Tommy Frazier, or just college football in general, are watching Tommy Frazier and Lawrence Phillips at Nebraska as a kid, as well as the Boise upset in the Fiesta Bowl. Uh, the bad of college football for him, memory wise, is the infamous, uh, most people would say greatest game ever played, USC versus Texas Rose Bowl, and he still hates Vince Young to this day. Um, I definitely remember watching that game. What do you remember about that one, Matt?
Which one? The USC game? The
Yep,
Texas
yep.
USC game? I
USC
mean, I
Texas.
remember being absolutely disgusted as an Oklahoma fan. We never want to see Texas do well. But it was such a great game and such an incredible performance from Vince Young that even as a rival, you can't help but go, wow. Like you can't help but watch it and just be amazed, right?
Yeah.
Um, we didn't really need to bring up the Boise State Fiesta Bowl win over Oklahoma. I'll tell you this though, I don't know if people know this. The Statue of Liberty is is in the game.
Is it really?
Yeah, so you can. There's a shotgun two back set split back with a Statue of Liberty play in
Huh. I would. I would have a terrible time executing that. I imagine I'd have to practice that to no end. But
there. Yeah,
um, which set did you say?
I'll find it.
All
I'll
right.
find it. Hold on 1 second.
Um, dude, so like that game was 05, and like I was only 16, but I definitely remember I was sitting there on the couch as obviously late at night, and I had fallen asleep, and my dad woke me up, probably with 5 minutes or whatever to go. He's like, you're not gonna want to miss it, and even just being 16, like I think I was able to recognize then, like that's wouldn't have known it to be the greatest game ever played, or even have called it that myself at that point. But like, it's, not all national championships even are created equal, right? And so that's definitely one that sticks out amongst all of them, I would say. So obviously that's a bad memory for Chop, but it's just a fun memory to talk about. Period. Um,
Iconic.
yeah, like yeah, I can in my head very easily just close my eyes and picture Vince Young running into the corner of that end zone and holding that ball. Like yeah, the iconic would be a way to put it. Nothing that sticks in your mind that vividly from that long ago, from a major event like that, should be labeled anything short of iconic, I guess. Um, Continuing on with Chop here, just uh, what he likes about the league, what he's noticed about the league versus some of the other leagues that he's been in. Chop did say NDL isn't perfect, still a little cheese here and there, and I think other people would probably agree with him. I'm not saying everybody, and I'm not even saying myself, but there's definitely some cheese believers. But so far, he loves it. He says it's a far cry from dealing with the rats in cut and online dynasties, and to that, I think we would all probably agree. Um, he's loved getting to know more of real players from obviously in real life teams that he'd never otherwise pay attention to, and I think that I like that because that's a big thing for me too. Is like you're watching football all day long on Saturday, and even if a game that you might have up in the four box that you otherwise never turn the volume on and pay attention to, a guy that you know or have played with flashes across the screen, you're going to go check in on that real quick. So I've appreciated that conduit between real life and the video games as well. Um, and then he did just, what went on to say the NDL blows the other leagues out of the water. He does think that play a friend mode is completely different and takes time to adjust to, uh, because he believes it definitely plays different than online dynasties, whether that's through sliders or what. I don't know. I'm not even. I don't know how y'all figure that shit out. I love the game. I enjoy playing it. I figured out enough to get by and win 6 games last season. But as far as all these things, like it takes a keen eye for some of that. So I just have to listen and rely on what people tell me and believe it, um, right, wrong, or indifferent. But I think Chop probably brings up points that a lot of other guys have felt or thought over time. But yeah, Chop. I think he showed that he was a good coach at WMU last year. Had a pretty decent season. He's over at Cal in the ACC now, so we'll check back in on him at the end of the season and see where things stand.
Good dude. He's one of my favorites of the new guys, man. He, you know, I've told him a few times. He's my like he's what I want to be when I grow up. The way he can take a loss is amazing. Like losing that. I think it was a beefy losing that beefy game to D Kane on that quarterback scramble, and his response was, "I didn't expect it. Great game." Like that's just classy, and I a level of classy that I have yet to find.
I I would struggle too. I don't. I mean, I never outwardly do I fume about the losses, but I internalize that shit. Probably not in a healthy way. Let's
Same.
just put it that
Yeah.
way.
Same.
Oh boy! All right, let's get to our last guy here, Coach D Nazi. I think he was with us last year too, but he's back this year. He's at Oklahoma State. Um, he is from the Nashville, Tennessee area. So, quick plug again for the NDL convention coming up this July. It will be in the Nashville area, so maybe D Nazi can stop by. And for anybody else who's interested and hasn't yet found it, there is a channel for the NDL convention, so go check that out. Um, he's in another league with Devin Higgins, Smitty, and Ryan Collins, and he said they told me I should apply, so he did. Happy to have you, D Nazi. He's a big college football fan, obviously located there in Tennessee, so he's a Vol fan all the way. Um, He put in here GBO exclamation exclamation all capitals. I don't know what is that Go Big Orange or what does GBO stand for? Would you happen to know?
Do not. Maybe he did say. Yeah, he did say he was a Tennessee fan in the chat.
Yeah,
I
May,
mean, the Smitty coaching tree grows, huh?
yeah. Devin commented a little while ago. Maybe somebody will chime in and let us know from the Vol Nation what. Yeah, Go Big Orange. Okay, I kind of figured that was the most logical thing. So, um, and one of his favorite memories of Tennessee is the Josh Dobbs heave to beat Georgia in the last second, and then beating Bama in Neyland a few years back. Um, was the Bama Neyland game the one where they fucking took the goalpost and went and chucked her in the river?
Oh, that was Vanderbilt.
Vanderbilt. Oh, that's right. That's right. The in-state
Yeah.
game. That's right. Um, that was I just you think about that. That's just so funny seeing the pictures of them just carrying that damn thing down the road towards the canal or the river, whatever.
Well, well, I think Vanderbilt did it when they beat Alabama. It was so funny because it wasn't that long. Like they started during that week, they started calling back to Nick Saban's comments about how bad of a home field it was.
Oh yeah, take
And
okay.
yeah,
They took personal offense to that. The Michael
yeah.
Jordan thing, huh? That's funny. Um, I again, you got that mind to remember those things. Like I have these like snippets of things that I remember, but I can never like piece these whole stories together. So I appreciate that you're able to fill in these gaps or inaccuracies when I attribute it to one game, vice another. Um, Tennessee did to Bama and Vandy did it to. There you go. Yeah, we definitely got a couple. See, Vol Nation's definitely well represented here in the league. I know you're talking about Auburn being up at the top of the charts, but I think your Tennessee guys will tell you loud and proud that they're number one. But anyway, um,
Can
Dean
we talk
Ozzie,
about
what does he
real
like
quick?
about the league? Go ahead.
Real quick, can we just talk about how weird Josh Dobbs looks?
It's dude, he's so goddamn smart too. He's like a legitimate like rocket scientist, whatever he is, right?
Oh
But
yeah, he's like a legitimate genius. I just look at his face and I'm like, this looks off. It's like
does he have
uncanny valley.
alopecia? Is that like alopecia is where you have no he's got see there you go. He fucking does have alopecia. We
What
can't.
does that have to do with his face looking weird? I'm not saying it looks discolored. I'm just saying it looks like
No, not it wouldn't be discolored. It's just no hair, dude. I
he looks
feel
like
like
he
the
has
bald
AI.
head.
He
Like
looks
if,
like an AI
dude,
robot.
what would this is what's funny. Like I don't know how to describe it, but you're right. Like he does have a distinct look to him. Like this guy's a fucking what? Like he
Do you
he he fits the mold of a rocket scientist, I guess. But how funny would it be to see a picture of Josh Dobbs with hair? Like how do you think that would change him?
do you, I don't know if it would at all. Do you know what? Do you know the uncanny valley? Have you heard this?
No,
So it's the idea that something is really close to human, but not quite.
never
That
heard of
that
that.
little bit of not quite feels really uneasy when humans look at it.
Huh?
I'm just saying. I'm not. They're trying to turn it into a anti alopecia thing. I have no issue with
No, no, no,
alopecia.
dude. No, that people used to because dude, he got memed for sure back in the day. I remember that. Like,
Absolutely.
yeah, this is no indictment on Josh Dobbs. Just a little. Listen, we're not just about the NDL here. We talk about everything and we're honest about it. So again, we're not hating on Josh Dobbs, but he definitely has a we'll call it a rocket scientist look to him. How about that?
I'll call it an alien looking. I'm not apologizing. I don't care what y'all say
Fair
about it.
enough. Um, So yeah, Dean Ozzie, he loves it too. He thinks the whole setup is amazing. He loves the website and the immersion of that, and the competition in the league being pretty high caliber. He thinks the draft is great, and he actually wanted Oak State, so he was pretty stoked to get them. Uh, This is actually the first league. I'm not sure. Again, obviously, he's had mentioned being with Devin, Smitty, and Ryan Collins. I'm not sure. He mentioned this was his first league of this type, so he didn't really have anything to compare it to. But he's just looking forward to hopefully sticking around Oklahoma State, not getting fired, and proving that he can be a powerhouse in the league for seasons to come. So he's definitely got a quarterback and a running back headed his way next season, um, with several other UNT supporting characters as well. So good luck to D Nazi. Um, and there you go. Yeah, so he coaches with them. Sorry, and they're also lovers. I love that. Oh, that's Jesus. That's D Nazi right there. I saw the Rex at the end, the ZZY Rex, and for whatever reason, my brain didn't even process the D Naz part. I just thought that was Glizzosaurus Rex in my mind. Like, but yeah, D Nazi's actually in here with us. So cool. Glad to have you listening in, D Nazi. That could actually be a
Absolutely.
sick rack name too, like Nas, little D Nazi. Sounds a little. I like it. I'm getting
Little
off
Nazi
track here.
Rex.
Um, so that wraps it up on the new coaches. But I just have to say I really enjoyed doing that. I appreciate all those guys for taking the time to answer and help everybody to get to know them a little bit better. So for our listeners who will tune in later, I hope you find something that you and our newer coaches have in common and can strike up a friendship over it. Um, the flip side of friendship is a little friendly NDL rivalry action, and we here at the Hot Route will do our best at some times to incubate rivalries and banter amongst the crowd. So we took the time to put together a little conference commissioners interview. Um, we reached out to all conference commissioners. Some declined comment, some did not respond, period. But we were lucky enough to have the Big 12, ACC, SEC, and Big 10 commissioners provide comment. Um, so we'll start in the Big 12. Um, the Hot Route reached out to Coach Jokers, who is heading up the Big 12 this season as a commissioner. Um, for those of you joining us, you can see on screen. Unfortunately, I am going to have to read it for our listeners so that they can get the full experience. So bear with us. But the Hot Route asked Jokers, your top players have come out of the gate strong, posting wins, but some of your other high level coaches who have stumbled out of the blocks did so in large part because they scheduled tough out of conference. Out of conference scheduling is a hot button topic regarding how guys go about building their schedules and if they've given themselves the opportunity for marquee wins. As Big 12 commissioner, what is your conference's philosophy towards OOC? Additionally, we mentioned that the season 35 draft saw a pretty solid talent distribution throughout the conferences. You have some high level coaches find their way into the Big 12 this year, with Marion returning to Utah and Smitty using the randomizer to end up at Kansas. As commish, what are your early season thoughts on the season 35 CFP? Is the Big 12 a three bid league? Um, Joker's received the questions well. He is also very he has strong convictions in his opinions. He is firm and believes in everything he says. Um, so to that end, he spoke to the rest of the league and he said, and I'll quote: "The SEC is our enemy, and all the top teams in the SEC dodged us. It was tough to see, but at a conference like the Big 12, where it just means more, we pride ourselves in fast, physical, and high level football. Not only was the SEC scared of us, but they also refused to play unless they got the home game. This is going to hurt them come playoff time as they won't have the experience, and we will. The Big 12 is loaded. Slower start, but that's because of the OOC schedule being elite. I'm excited to watch all the teams excel this year, and I'm confident in our conference. These teams aren't afraid like other teams. We are seeing other big conferences lose to G5 teams, such as Penn State to South Florida, not in the Big 12. NTX, some strong words from Jokers there. What do you think?
I love it. This is a master class in narrative framing. You know, everybody knows the Big 12 is the fourth best conference in the NDL. Uh, but he has taken from jump, from minute one. He talked the SEC Commissioner Hubbard into a cross conference rivalry, which should never have happened. That should have always been the SEC versus the Big Ten. But Hubbard let it happen, and then I just think I think he's done a fantastic job. Let's say it that way. He has single handedly upped the outlook and the overall thought about where the Big 12 ranks in terms of NDL conferences, and that's a credit to Joker.
Yeah. Narrative framing, good way to put it. But yeah, that's listen, I love it. This is part of what we're here to do. Again, we're not here to create bad blood, but we are here for entertainment purposes, and we are more than willing to ask the questions to spurn that conversation. Uh, I will say it one more time, just to acknowledge it. I'm not sure if you're reading the chat, but I'm gonna owe D Nazi Rex 10 cents now. He actually has a trademark on that name from his days of playing collegiate Call of Duty. Oh, he says he's bullshitting about the money though. But either way, he legitimately owns a trademark to that name from
That's insane.
competitive Call of Duty. So that's actually pretty badass. I love little quirks and oddities about guys in the league like that. I don't think we probably have anybody else in here with a trademark username or probably even a collegiate video game career.
Right.
Have,
I didn't even know collegiate Call of Duty was a thing.
I think yeah, I mean there's a lot of games, but I don't know numbers or anything, but I believe collegiate gaming uh, has again it's another as sports are a recruitment tool for schools, right? E-gaming is a great recruitment school, and I'd have to imagine you probably get some relatively elite academic people out of the e-gaming world as well. Not that you can't in any other sport. I'm just saying that's another way to draw people to your school. So it makes a lot of sense, I think. Really big now, blown up in the past 4 to 5 years, D Nazi says. Interesting.
Interesting.
Very cool. I like that. All right. Well, hey, uh, we'll wrap it up here on the Big 12, but Joker's made his claim, and I know he'd stand behind that. So we'll maybe reach out for future comment on some of these thoughts and opinions from Jokers from the SEC commissioner. Uh, I did reach out to the SEC commissioner, Coach Jeremy Hubbard, and we did have a conversation that took place in parallel to the Jokers conversation. So we didn't bring this up yet, and so yeah, again, that's a future episode. But for the time being, we went ahead and asked Coach Hubbard, outside of the unexpected loss by Texas A&M, the SEC is off to a hot start. How do you feel about your conference this season? Do you guys have the coach to knock D. Kennedy off his throne? And as a follow up, is the SEC hands down, bar none, the best conference in the NDL? Jay Hubbard had some thoughts and he shared those with us. He said, and I'll quote, "The Roke loss was unexpected for sure. But we are 21-5 as of this time as of the time of this conversation. One of those is a conference loss, and two of the other four were road games against quality coaches in RB and Swovine. Coach Hubbard's biggest fear is that the SEC will cannibalize each other a little and hurt our CFP chances in terms of getting as many teams as we probably should into the tournament." He went on to say, "When I look at the coaches we have, I see Jiggy, who of course is one of the best in the NDL. We have Jumper, who has adjusted his play style to fit the Rebels. We have Rain, who is a perennial CFP contender with a talented Alabama roster. Tutty had a great season at Fresno and is now undefeated in the young season at Georgia. Penguin back in Baton Rouge is an animal. And that list doesn't even include Vegas at Tennessee, Finesse at Vandy, or Texanola at Oklahoma. When you look at these 16 coaches, which of them do you want to face off against? They can all beat you any single night. In the first block, we had 8 ranked teams, and I think it should be more. Quite the proclamation by Coach Hubbard, I'd say. Lastly, in regards to do we have the coach to knock off D. Kennedy? Resoundingly, yes, he had replied. Will I tell you which ones I think can do it? No, of course not, he said. But he feels that we have more than one coach who is capable of doing it. So I know that we just saw some shade out of the Big 12 commissioner's office thrown the SEC's way, but I'd see some information here to stand strong on for the SEC commissioner and his fellow coaches to maybe refute those claims out of the Big 12. What do you think about the SEC here and Coach Hubbard's assessment, Matt?
It's loaded. I mean, it's obviously it's loaded. I think he's right to be a little concerned that they'll just sort of eat each other as they go through this process. Some of these late season games that they're going to have are going to be insane. And like you said, that's not even mentioning, some of the guys like we talked about Cross earlier at Auburn. There's no reason that he couldn't beat a Tennessee or an A&M or an Ole Miss on a given night.
Sure.
LSU, right. And I don't know that they play. I can't get all their schedules up, but um, Sammy can jump up with Kentucky and take down anyone. The depth of the SEC this season is far and away better than anything else there is across the league.
You know what's interesting too. I mean, I don't have this problem per se. I mean, I guess in a different way, but framed from a high level user and with a good school. But in real life, they talk about trap games, right? Obviously, a look ahead game, things like that. But you almost get to wonder, like some of these top guys, if they don't end up in a same situation, and not because they're underestimating the coach across from them, but just because it is mentally a grind trying to play an undefeated season against those schedules. So I feel like even those guys can just be susceptible to where, maybe they just don't have the energy that day and they didn't quite get up for the game mentally, or stay in it mentally the way they might like to if they, hit a little adversity. But it'd be interesting to hear what other coaches think about that. Like the guys that are in these situations and are fighting for playoff contention week in and week out against such high level competition.
Absolutely. And at the end of the day, I think we've all turned this game on and had times where uh, our players just don't feel like they're responding, or
Yeah.
they're just not doing the things they
Feels
normally do,
slower.
right? Yeah, and
Yeah.
the difference is the really really high level users weather that quarter or that quarter and a half and get through it, and then come out the other side and when it shakes loose, because it usually does. It usually kind of tips back and forth for a bit, right? Or you'll even see, like I've seen in scrimmages, especially recently, like either I jump out early or the other team does, and one person comes back. And whereas I think the lower you go on the user scale, the harder it is to weather some of those storms, and these really good guys do it really, really well.
Right. Yeah. I I like that analysis. I think that's a very astute and accurate point. Huh. All right. Well, I mean, takes a lot of mental energy consuming all these statements here and the implications that they have. Um, I'm gonna head over to the ACC next. There's been a couple good wins there. Obviously, Clemson picked up a nice one against Iowa the other day. Um, D. Kennedy resides over the Atlantic Coast Conference. And so, just like the others, the hot route reached out and had a chance to speak with D. Kennedy. And we just wanted to ask him with regards to the ACC. Um, some early season wins have produced big returns for the conference reputation. Clemson over Iowa, Louisville over Texas A&M, to name a few. Your top-end coaching depth from last season returned, and some new high-level coaches joined the ranks, such as Miami, BC, SMU, and Cal. Where does the ACC stand among the conference ranks, in your opinion? As well as, in addition to that question, I should say, we also asked, speaking of the depth mentioned above, is it enough for the ACC to contend for 3 college football playoff bids? And would you say the minimum number of bids for the ACC is 2? So Miami is Devon, BC is Cleat Freak, SMU is Steamroller, and Cal is Chop. Just to review that, the additional coaches to the league. So D. Kennedy is pretty positive and upbeat about where things are headed. And so, in response to those questions, D. Kennedy offered up, we gained some heavy hitter coaches this offseason. We did have to replace El Jefe, who long dominated the ACC. But in his place, we brought in Pirate and Devon, both of which are the same level. They are not as proven as El Jefe's consistent reign of dominance, but the talent alone is there. Throw in Steam being back, Swovine at Louisville, knocking off Texas A&M, and there you have it. D. Kennedy thinks that his conference has the horses. Um, the ACC is the second best conference in the NDL, according to D. Kennedy. 2 CFP bids is an absolute lock. There's never been a bet more of a lock than the ACC getting a minimum 2 win. Strong words there, but I love the confidence, and D. Kennedy definitely feels that 3 is within reach and 2 is the absolute floor. So, um, some detractors out there may call it hubris. I call it confidence, and I like it. So, another strong statement out of the commissioner's office backing the conference. We'll see if his constituents can hold up his claims. What do you think, Matt? 2
Yeah,
bids, 3 bids?
it's probably 2. I can't imagine. For them to get 3, the Big Ten would have to really, really continue to struggle, and the SEC would have to eat each other. I mean, there's a world where it happens. I don't think it's a very likely world.
Yeah,
Um, I think it's Miami and Clemson. Most likely, I think Miami and Clemson probably see each other in the ACC title game.
yeah,
I think they both probably get in. Steam. If anybody has the shot at that third one, it's probably Steam. I think that SMU team is really, really talented. I think he's a great coach. It's just going to be tough, right? They're going to need some. He's going to need some stuff to fall his way
yeah,
because I think he does have a pretty tough schedule in conference. SMU is a hopefully. I'm trying. Um, it's funny though. It's. I mean, no conference commissioner is ever going to come out and be like, "Look, we're terrible,"
yeah,
right? Like, so it's a little bit like, you know, letting the inmates write their parole decision or something
yeah.
like that. But let's see. So SMU plays Clemson and Miami,
Oh
so
wow, yeah.
and Louisville and Cal.
So
So
it's dude. So that's interesting, right? Because that's to your point there. I was gonna say like I feel like the only way the ACC could get 3 in would be as if they have a situation where the scheduling lined up to where some of those top teams don't meet, and then as long as they win their games, they can all kind of thread that needle and have that one loss conference record, and obviously somebody gets left out of the championship game there, but it's still a strong enough record to get you in. So at least from SMU's end, it sounds like they didn't draw a friendly schedule in that regard. but there may be another team out there in addition to Miami and Clemson who can somehow navigate those waters. But uh, I still think that's harder to see. I think you're paddling upstream in that sense, and two is probably a safe bet. Uh, but three might be a stretch.
Yeah, Miami and Clemson don't play each other, right? So
But
that's a
and
huge deal.
yeah, and so that's you know it not only does that help each of them, but it kind of hurts the rest of the league because now
Yep,
one of them is not going to incur a loss out of that. So
correct.
um, definitely a benefit to those two. Last and not least, we're getting to the hour and a half here, Mark. So we're gonna close up shop. But the last coach that we were, excuse me, commissioner, I should say, that we were able to catch up with was Chip from the Big Ten. Um, we love Coach Chip, and as most of you know, at least everybody who's been here, Coach Chip is a very intelligent person and articulate, and always has strong opinions or insightful opinions to share. I should say, as strong as I'll let him put the label on that. But anyway, we took a look at the Big Ten conference, and the hot route wanted to ask the Big Ten commissioner the following. It's been a bit of a tough start for the Big Ten. Some coaches scheduled tough OOC games and have paid the price for that thus far. Iowa and Penn State as examples. The Big still hosts our defending back-to-back national champion, but it's fair to say the Big is lagging behind the SEC out of the gate. What do you and your coaches need to do as a conference to course correct? And then in addition, we asked, can the Big Ten be a four-bid conference this season? Chip took a moment to process all that and thanked us for our questions and offered up the following. Personally, I feel I made the mistake of picking all my conference mates to win on the big pod, and I think I made them overconfident. As far as the coaches, I appreciate their willingness to schedule tough opponents to provide enjoyment for the rest of the league. However, they need to understand the season is a marathon and not a sprint. There's still plenty of chances to come up with marquee wins for their programs, and they're still adapting to the new play styles. I think we'll be fine. With regards to the four bids, Chip says, and I'll quote, in going back to the first question, I want to fire my guys up and say we'd be lucky to get three bids this season, let alone four. Other than Oregon and Ohio State, I've yet to see playoff caliber football from a Big Ten team. I'm especially disappointed in Patrick, who has the best overall team in the game, but is saying he's quote already ready for next season. For those who don't know, Patrick would be Coach Petty at Indiana. Fired Up Chip went on to finish by saying, I think he, meaning Pat, would benefit from another chat ban so he can get out of his own head. I do want to shout out Chrome and Rutgers, though, as he has done a great job thus far despite not having the best team. So there you have it. Again, I will say in this case, strong words from Chip, both positively, and then I wouldn't call that negatively, but definitely in a manner in which he's challenging his guys to step up to the challenge, the plate, whatever you may. But I like that. I think that's the sign of a good commissioner and what a commissioner should do. His job is to look out for the best interests of the Big Ten, and the best interest of the Big Ten includes the coaches performing well. What do you think about the Big Ten early on, Matt? What do you in Chip's comments here? He's right, he's wrong. You agree with him?
I I I so appreciate Chip for falling on the sword there and blaming himself. What a classy guy.
Yep.
It's not his fault, and it's really not anybody's fault. And I'm gonna step onto a soapbox and defend the Big Ten a little bit. If you dig into the actual wins and losses, you know, Wisconsin has two losses by a total of 7 points. UCLA lost to Utah, right? Utah's rated 7 points higher than they are. Illinois lost a shootout, a 90 over shootout to Auburn. Washington lost to Alabama. Hey, it's Alabama, right?
Yep.
Minnesota is within a frog hair of being 2-0, right? So there's a lot of things that could have happened differently, and we'd be talking about the Big Ten in a much different way. I think we will be talking about them in a different way come the end of the season, when some of those breaks start to go a different way, and you get into Big Ten play and things start to separate themselves a little bit more. It has been a tough block, but I don't think it's been the kind of block that you look at them and you go, "Oh, Big Ten's dead." If you just look at who's been played, who's playing who, and how some of these games turned out, it's a lot tighter than it appears on the surface.
Yeah. And I mean, to that point, right? I think something you could parallel that to in real life is the question like, what's the point of preseason polls, and no ranking should occur till week 6. That's not this argument. That's not here or there. But to that end, I don't think that this early in the season you can really pass judgment on anybody. I think it is very fair for the commissioner of the league to take stock of what he's seen so far and assess it not negatively but very critically and fairly, and request his guys to step up to the challenge and maybe bring the Big Ten back towards the level with the SEC, as they think they probably should be. Um, I think I enjoy that. I think it was good that we took the time to do that. These guys put in the work, behind the scenes, but don't always get here in the NDL the screen time or the air time. So uh, I appreciate being able to get some feedback from the commissioners and share their thoughts with the league. So uh, I look forward to some of the coaches' opinions on these statements, both from within their own leagues and from outside their leagues, as more people listen along here. But that does that for the conference commissioners interviews. Um, we've been going for a while here. I know we usually do some pop culture and step outside the NDL for what I think will. I would like to quote. Quote. I would like to coin that outside the NDL. I remember. Do you ever watch like the Outside the Lines back in the day on ESPN?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I
Those are
I
fun.
really enjoyed that. Um, so anyway, it's getting late. It's 12:30 here. I got to go to work. We're not going to delve into it too far tonight, but we will still take a few minutes here to step out of the football and into a different world. Um, so World Baseball Classic is underway. Spring training is underway, and the Major League Baseball season will open the regular season here before the calendar turns to April. Um, there's also MLB The Show coming out on the 13th. And as a little plug for everybody who may or may not know, we are, under the direction of Coach Hubbard, starting up a MLB The Show league, NDL league. So if that's something that you're interested in and don't know about yet, come to the Other Games tab and find the MLB The Show online league under the baseball tab, and join us. Um, Matt, you're a Texas Rangers guy. You're a lifelong baseball guy, or what's your story with the sport?
I was a much bigger baseball fan as a kid and when I was younger. Um, I think like sixth grade, I turned into an offensive lineman and I just forgot about it. I mean, I still watched it, but
Yeah,
I was no longer in baseball condition.
gotcha.
I was just, and I just wasn't built for it. I was built to play offensive and defensive line. but it, being around Texas, being in Dallas, it's hard not to be a Rangers fan when they're good. It's everywhere, right? You follow them. That World Series run was incredible. It didn't quite erase the stain of Game Six and losing that World Series, but it definitely helped to win a long way.
What from back in the day, like yeah, I mean, not one of my first memories, obviously, but with just in terms of like the Rangers, I remember I don't even know how old I was. This has got to be so when A Rod came to the Rangers the first season, they played their opening games in Puerto Rico. I don't know why I remember that. I do, but like I just think back to that time of the Rangers. Pudge Rodriguez. I'm pretty positive Rafi Palmeiro was still playing, in the limelight of his career, if I'm not mistaken. But um, what are some other names, games, things like that you remember about the Rangers from back in the day?
Oh man, there were so many fun ones. I was always a massive Michael Young fan.
Yeah,
He moved around a lot. He played second base, shortstop, third base. Um, but even going back to that era, I remember watching Pudge in the mid '90s in the All Star games, right? Because we were so bad for that period of time that Pudge, every team gets a representative. Pudge
yeah,
was always our representative, so Pudge was kind of only our only brush with being good at all. He was so incredible, man. But my era really of watching baseball was uh, when John Daniels came in. He made those trades and got Mark Teixeira and Elvis Andrews. And that team
yeah,
was really 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 good. And then Josh Hamilton. God, Josh Hamilton made baseball fun again for me.
yeah. That's funny because as we were sitting here, like he was somebody who I was thinking of. Like he has that, that crazy career redemption story with. I mean, he had a lot of struggles, but um, dude, they gave him some. He obviously never lived up to it, but he got a crazy contract out of them, didn't he?
Yeah, I think so, but I think it had a lot of because of his history. It had a lot of sort of incentive stuff. The really
God,
crazy, I think, contract was the Angels. So
yeah,
he ended up leaving Texas to go to LA or Anaheim, and that was pretty much a disaster. He should have just stayed, right? But you talk about a guy like the movie The Natural, right? Like just
yeah,
someone that was just born to do it. That was him.
yeah,
I mean, that dude was incredible.
yeah. Um, It's just I think about the baseball is one of those that's like notorious for those contracts that don't age well, right? But it's also a sport with fully guaranteed money, and you just think about those things. Like I'm a Yankees fan, I'm born and raised in New York. Became a Yankees fan because when I was 8, my dad took me to a game for my birthday, and that did it right there. But um, I would like a name and not an obscure name per se, but a lesser known name. He was a good pitcher, but Carl Pavano, do you remember that name?
Yes.
Yeah. So the Yankees signed him. Uh, I mean, I don't know exactly when you would say major league money started to get huge. You know what I mean? But he was one of those guys that like signed a reasonable average annual value contract for that time. He had gotten 4 years for 44 million, I think, or whatever the years. It was 44 million, and he made
Mm-mm.
4 starts in total for the team. And like
Wow.
that was one of those first ones. Being younger, I remember like you can make $11 million a fucking start, and just like not even be able to wrap my head around that. And then today, like deferred money or not, $700 million for a guy. Fucking Kyle Tucker signing the highest average annual value. Like it's just crazy, dude. Sports and money has gotten out of control, and just like in the baseball realm, I don't watch the sport and the games itself as much, but I still consume the hell out of the news of it, right? So I subscribe to the Athletic, and Ken Rosenthal and Jason Stark are writers there, and they're great. So like I'm always trying to keep up on the MLB. I love baseball. I'll never not love baseball. Um, I've to be honest, I think Rob Manfred's kind of a douchebag. Um, I would go back to the whole World Series, the hunk of metal comment. I thought that was kind of like for a commissioner to say something like that was insane. But
Hmm.
yeah, I mean, they could be headed for a work stoppage at the end of this season over salary cap and money. So, um,
Well, I have a question. I have a
yeah,
question for you regarding those contracts. Do you celebrate Bobby Bonilla Day?
yeah. I so of all my OG friends, I'm the only guy that's an evil empire guy. The rest of them chose the Mets, and so it's a well celebrated day amongst our friend group.
It lasts through 2035.
It's
How insane
unbelievable.
is that? He'll be 72 years old when he gets his last check from the Mets.
Yeah, I mean, it's not going to be nearly as much as some of these other guys, but uh, he's the king of deferred money in my book. He is the OG deferred money king. That's
Well, you know who he has to thank for that, right?
dude. I knew the no. Go ahead, because again, this is where you remember these details and the stories. But go ahead.
So this is when Mets ownership got involved in the Bernie
Bernie
Madoff
Madoff. Yeah,
Ponzi
yeah,
scheme.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh,
So they couldn't afford to pay certain people, and they ended up doing this deferred settlement with Bobby Bonilla
I forgot
to
about
pay
it, dude.
out his
That's
money.
crazy. I completely forgot about that. Man, that's
He
that's
had
such a wild story too, dude. I don't. There's been several different productions, TV wise done on that, and a lot of books, but um, that
he
shit
was
was
only
crazy.
owed
I forget. Go
he
ahead.
was only owed $5.9 million, and they are going to end up paying him over 38 million or something.
I mean, I think that's wild, right? I feel like that kind of just speaks to how out of control that situation was with Madoff and the Ponzi scheme. That you, I mean, they had to be flat out of cash. Nobody in their
Hmm.
right mind would defer 5 million to pay 30 million. So
It's
it
insane.
must have just been like unbelievable. I can't even imagine getting wrapped up in something like that.
Absolutely insane. I mean, because you're not talking about, you know, you and I getting our identity stolen and losing 2 grand, right? I mean, these are
Yeah.
these are million, and billionaires, right? These guys don't want for anything. So
Yeah.
for them to, end up in a spot where they have to make a deal like that, it must have been really bad.
Have you been to the new stadium down there? The I forget, Globe Life Park, right? The indoor park. How is that?
Yeah, it's better. It's a better experience
Yeah.
just because the heat is so oppressive here, but it's not the same.
Yeah.
The ballpark in Arlington was so. I mean, I'll forgive it the second time I've used it, but it was an iconic stadium. It was
No,
you knew it
absolutely,
right
dude.
away.
Yeah, absolutely. You see a picture of that, you know exactly which stadium that is, hands down. No, you don't even have to study the picture. So I think you're right on that, dude. Um, well, I could, dude. Honestly, I could talk forever about baseball, uh, but we've been going for an hour and 40. It's getting late. I think we can probably come back around to that. I'd love to talk more about. I could talk sports, period, all day. But that was a pretty good episode number two. I think we covered a lot of new ground, and I had a blast doing it. I want to thank you for joining me, Matt. I want to thank everybody who's tuned in. I want to thank everybody for participating in the live chat. Denazi Rex, there's another 5 cents for you, bud. Matt, you got anything else for the league?
No, that's it. Any issues, complaints, or anger, please direct it to Drew's inbox. Thank you.
Okay, you will all be muted if you send it my way as well. Kidding, kidding. Please, actually, no. To that end, though, I'm glad you brought that up. We really do appreciate the feedback that we get from you guys. We got quite a few comments in the Discord channel for our show, and Matt and I have been talking. I know back on Drunk on Downs, one of the staples I was going after was surveys and league participation, and I think not for every show, but that's something we're gonna bring back because we do value everybody's opinion. And so yes, you may direct anything my way. We value it all, positive, negative, otherwise. So for everybody that's tuned in tonight, thank you, Matt. As always, it's been a pleasure. NDL, peace.